Is boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys hung in there for that brief rally we had yesterday. And we are getting a little follow through. Crypto still going nuts. SPY, nice little bounce. Q's doing its thing as well. And we'll get into to all of that. We got earnings coming out this week, so we went through a couple of them yesterday, but we got a couple big dogs tonight. Tomorrow, I think, is Meta. I think today is, if I'm not mistaken, Google. There was one other. I forget if it was Amazon. Pretty sure Google though today. Either way, we'll get into all that. SPY is gapping up slightly, which is important. But what's more important is we got the squadron in the house. Good morning to Admin 2. We got Albert in the house. Good morning, Andy, Bill, Brandon, Cindy, Diane, Eric's in the house. Good morning, Jay, Jill, Joe, JT. We got Kevin rocking with us. Good morning to Martina, Ryan, Wally, Sochi. Good morning to you. We got all my peeps out there, YouTube land, Richard, Jet, Rado, Cute Critters, Jennifer Level. Good morning to all of you. And even the lurkers just sitting in the background of YouTube. It's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like, subscribe button. It just makes me feel good about myself, but I think it also helps with the algorithms, and that's kind of cool too. So if you guys could do that, that would be highly appreciated. So again, SPY gapping up. We are above some decent levels. Interesting time in Bill Ackman. Interesting time to save the market. We got right down into that magic number. We've had on these charts for a while, and so far the numbers are still holding up. I love Jeremy's comment yesterday in the afternoon room. He said, and is every once in a while we'll get these candles in the market where we're like, that's the one. If this candle breaks down, it's a if or end statement. If this candle breaks down, we probably head lower, right? And that makes total sense. So if we start getting closes below yesterday's low, again, that was such a key spot we had to get the bounce off of. And we'll look at TLT as well. But if you notice, right when Bill Ackman tweeted, I'm not saying the market's rigged or manipulated. I'm not saying it's that, because he also went short bonds pretty much at the exact time, and just so happens he also kind of tweeted a lot about, we think the 10-year rate is going beyond 5%. Okay, but if that's what he thought right when it hit 5%, that's when he bailed. He gonna front run the crowd. Okay, I'm just not accusing anybody of anything, but just great timing. Just great timing. But we are above two different VPOCs, so let's see if this can hold. This is 422.32. We're still inside day from yesterday. The next little level of support, and that should take us back to a good one, 421.19. And so two decent levels. This is probably, I'm going to have bullish edge until this candle breaks, regardless. But until we get down there, we could come back in, retest, have a chop day. We will have, I see the 200 on my chart at 426.15. So that also lines up pretty nicely with some VPOCs to the higher side. Yeah, so I'm going to say that this is going to be a little bit of a pretty big resistance. Can we break through it? I don't know. Nothing's really happened in the economy yet, fundamentally, except for the fact that Bill Ackman's no more short. That's about it. We got Qs. And then today we're going to start to get a little bit more information in the market based on number one, companies' earnings. And we have some bigger companies today than we did yesterday, but also more importantly, the forecast. So the forecast will probably actually hold a little bit more weight because again, the market's forward looking. Anytime someone's putting money in, they're looking at least 12 months out, unless we're day trading and it's like 12 minutes out. Otherwise, yeah, so that's going to give us a bigger picture as to the real concern about companies and how crazy, if anything, that was probably pumped by somebody named Bill, if that's as accurate, or he just needed to sell kind of an agenda to help out his investors. But we do have Q, same thing. So inside day, a little bit of support on Qs, 356.45. That's the first level I'm looking to hold. Second one is not that far behind it. That's 356.02. So we have some decent levels down there. Technically, this is a retest gap as well. So maybe a little bit of selling all night last night or all pre-market today. we have been running in this market. So would it make sense we get a little pullback, chop around, wait for some earnings? To me, that would make sense. I don't think we break this 351.16 today. If we do, that would be the same thing that Jeremy was talking about. Could get rough after that point, and we probably see some more impactful selling. TLT. So again, that's kind of what started the rally. We are same thing, inside day from yesterday, a little bit of a gap up. But as soon as TLT started to run, let's throw this on a 5-minute chart. As soon as TLT started to run yesterday, the markets were getting a little bit of a relief bounce, and TLT did hang out strong for most of the time. We still have the Fed selling treasuries into the market, so there still will be some pressure in the future, but at least we have a little bit of potential rally. This is a 3-bar reversal on TLT. Does this mean this thing just jumps up to $100 over the next 2 weeks? I mean, I don't know. But here's where this candle opened. This is where we closed, right? If we're just kind of reimagining this, we got all the action all the way down here. So essentially, we're looking at a hammer. It does have a little bit of wick to, on full transparency. We do have a little bit of wick up there too, some indecision. But for the most part, this is still relatively high. Decent looking bullish sentiment over the last 3 days, which would be Monday, Friday, and Thursday. And then I would think that this is a good spot. Most hammers come back, get retested. We got the VPOC right there from yesterday. So can we get a little selling, being that it is an inside day with a major move yesterday? I would say most likely. So look for probably about 84.32 on TLT to see if that comes back, see if that holds. If we start to break that, and again, this is why I'm bringing up TLT a lot lately. If we start to break that and we start breaking down this $84 zone, you got a lot more room on TLT. That means that none of this bond move is currently holding. And I think that's just going to put the pressure right back into the market. So it will be important to watch TLT today as well. I see a couple tickers coming in. The first one I see is MA. MasterCard. Nothing crazy. The only thing I would say, and we kind of played this on AMD yesterday, it was right off that 200 on the daily. So this again will be that candle. I mean, longer term, for MasterCard, we could see a little bit more downside to this thing overall. I mean, we've still got a glaring head and shoulders looking at us right in the face. But does everything just go straight down, or can we get some relief bounce? We still got 3 strong days we got to get through. High volume on this candle right here. So I would probably say if we could go bullish today, I don't know how crazy it would be, but I'm looking for 388.04 if we could get up there. And again, any stops really below yesterday's candle, right at that 200. And I think we start to lose that level, we do dip a little bit further. If we go extremely bullish today, so my first target, and we have support again. I think 384.54. This is inside day. The lower we could buy it, at least get you a better risk reward. Otherwise, the next level up 385.76. So very tight at open. I think that's a level that could break. We've already retested it once. That being said, we've already retested this one almost to the penny, 387.89. And so if we do go extremely bullish, the market really wants to hold up today, I could look at targets at 390.70. So if I think we could hit that, that would be the trade. But I would have to be buying some kind of a pullback on MA. Can you check NVIDIA? She owes me money. All right, let's see if we can get some Kashisha back for you. NVIDIA. Technically, I guess we're inside. We're at the very top of the candle. What was the high of this one? 432.48. So yeah, we are inside that candle, barely, but we are inside. Big bullish engulfing candle. Again, if we want to redraw this is a 3-bar reversal and a fairly strong one as well. So this is where we opened. It's the worst looking candle I think I've drawn ever, but and then you got a small little wick up here. So kind of a high wave indecision. That is a bullish candle. If this thing comes back and we really start to sell, I'll be looking for somewhere down there as support. That being said, I don't think we actually get there. But in a longer term perspective, for 18.99, I think would be a very, very good buy spot on Nvidia, providing that the market's holding up and we're not tomorrow's earnings. We're not a day away from earnings, anything like that. But I think that will probably have to come back, get retested to some extent. Maybe we don't go that far, then 424.85. However, today, and it's all a little bit longer term. If this thing bounces, comes back down, then we want to run. Otherwise, I'm looking for probably. It's not really much to retest, but 429.49, I would expect that to hold. That's at least the first spot I'd be looking to hold. And then on the way down, 427.82. We are opening kind of at one resistance. That's been now retouched twice, almost twice. It's going to be a little bit weaker. This is definitely my target, 438.54. It's at a very good location to open, run right into that target for 438.54. I would probably have to be patient and either miss that one for me. I'll probably either miss this first run up if this bell rings and this entire market starts flying. I would want to be looking to buy it more close to this 429.30, somewhere in that zone. See if we get a pullback. But yeah, that would be my target probably for today, 438.54. If this market doesn't open and we reverse everything we did yesterday. LOG. By the way, if a stock owes you money, that's fine. You can put money on layaway. That's fine. You can come back, get it later. But does it have to be today? There might be better gaps. We'll see if we can find any. Logitech. Logitech is that has to be earnings. Surprise beat earnings per share by 83%. And then they did come in with 84 million more in revenue. Pretty decent gap up. We've been trending bullish. That is a good location again for this thing to open. I don't know where I would throw targets. We don't really. I think my target would have to be 77.47. And then if we could get through that, maybe today we could hit 79.77. But this is already a pretty decent gap. I think somebody might want to take some profits on this one. And I would actually look for maybe this thing could fade. But that's a really good bullish gap. I think I would rather let this thing fade if it can, and then buy it as close as possible to about $72, $71.93. Otherwise, I feel like I'm treading the trend. But there's got to be some people profitable. Let me do one more thing on this one. Let me see if we're opening into a decent Fibonacci, at least on a longer term basis. See if there's one more reason that somebody might want to take profits. Not really. Not really until we get to that 50% retracement. What I wouldn't mind doing, so that's my target, 79.60. So it still gives us about $4.30, 25 cents to the higher side. I don't want to be the first one to buy this thing. I'd want to wait for a little bit of a pullback. But this would be an interesting one. If we could at least get a red candle, I wouldn't mind taking the break. It is a really, really good gap. We will see. Lucian says thoughts on the setup. Is this Tesla? We didn't even get to Tesla. Lucian's he's pumped. Lucian didn't even sleep last night. He was just all right. Let's pull up Tesla real quick. I don't want to be influenced by. I should just want to be influenced by Lucian because he's probably correct anyway. But let me see my unfazed thought on Tesla. Really good gap too. Concerned about targets. First stop 219.98. Would look for a pullback 213.88. It is an inside day technically at open. I would again, I don't know if it happens, but I would appreciate a pullback. And if we could get a pullback into like 214 area, I wouldn't mind buying that one. This I think 219.98 is going to be, and it's right before 220. That's probably going to be a decent resistance. Wouldn't mind trying to take something off there first. If it breaks that though, so it's either we just buckle up and say we're bullish everything, and I don't know if I'm there yet, but the next target would probably take us up to about 226.62. So let's see what Lucian got. Okay, he got the 3-minute chart. But let's see, yeah, 214.70. So I was thinking a little bit lower. But is that the pre-market VPOC? I was in that 214 range, but about 70 cents lower. And then your target is into 218.53. I think that target could run a little bit more too. Let me flip this to a 3-minute, and we'll just do one more Fibonacci on this thing. But yeah, pretty close to the same idea, off by a few pennies from where I think it could go. I like your exit a lot because that 219.98 and you're getting out about $1 sooner. Pulling the old Bill Ackman. I like it. Lots of volume, good high wave. It's all pre-market. Nothing too crazy there. 50% retracement. So you're probably buying that off the 618. That takes you right into that 214.18 zone. And then we have one more 214.45. Yeah, so somewhere right around that zone. I like it. I like that setup a lot. This is why I should just whatever Lucian put, let's just go with that. Save myself a lot of time. All right, we got AMD. We did trade this one yesterday. Let me take some of these lines off. Marie Lella says, is it turning point or fake out? That's the $1 million question. Bill Ackman has influence in the market. He is I mean, I would say I don't know if he's respected. I guess he would be. But he's also got he's had a history of, even during COVID, when he gets on TV and he just went short-term options, bearish, and he just blasted the economy, blasted everything. We got to stay at home. Everything needs to shut down. And he turned like 35 million into like a billion, 1.2 billion, something crazy, in a matter of a very, very short term, based off the fact that after he got off of CNBC, just blasting everything, knowing that he had some shorts on the table, a decent amount of shorts he just put on the table. There's some questionable things. Well, I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I mean, I don't know legality. I guess it's all legal if you're not really specifically pumping a stock and you're pumping the overall economy, or not pumping it. So some questionable practices. AMD was still ended kind of weak. I do love the fact that we are above this 200, but we couldn't even really hold on AMD yesterday. It did have a struggle bus. Look for about one. If you're going bullish, which this is technically gap and go above the 200, I could see a reason why bulls might, I don't know if they're getting excited, but might want to pick up a few shares. 101.94, I think, is going to be your resistance. But if this market starts to fade and we start to give something back, I would be looking at probably a little bit more of a pullback. I would like to see at this point 97.42 again on AMD. Not sure if we get it. We do have earnings, looks like, coming out very soon. Halloween, October 31st. So maybe they'll, I don't know which mask they show up with. Maybe they wear a bear mask that day. Maybe they wear a bull mask. But either way, they're going to attend the party. They will be at the party. So I don't know. We are very close to earnings. That 200 has to save us. I'd probably expect a little more chop. I'd almost want to look. I think NVIDIA today will have a little bit more follow through. We don't have earnings to them, I think, until November or something. Spotify. But yeah, if you're going bullish, you want that 200 on the daily to start holding. Spotify, they came out with earnings, a beat on both fronts. Surprise beat earning per share only by like 242%, and then $17 million to the bullish extra revenue. Surprise beat from what was expected. Really, really good gap. Technically, that's a retest. Really, really good gap though. I'd have to wait for a pullback. I can't be the first one in. That is a monster candle we threw in yesterday, and that is all retest. So now the question is, where do we buy it? I would say 163.97, but I'd really want this thing come back and then almost look for like a retest into at least 160. I don't think we come down to do a full on retest. So I wouldn't think that we can get down to this 154, 155 zone. But I would at least like to buy it maybe closer to 160.83. That gives me more upside. Otherwise, you still do have a lot of room to the upside if you're going to flip the coin. But 173 let's even go lower than that. Let's go 171.26. There we go. Now we're gapping below that VPOC. It's going to be back and forth. Depends on where this opens. Otherwise, 171.09 would be probably my target for today. If things really want to get going, I do see one more VPOC over here, 165.72. But again, if we're bullish and the market wants to go bullish, that's been a number already retested. So I think we could get through that if we want to run bullish. I just want more risk to reward on my side, which has to come back, at least retest a little bit. It doesn't have to come all the way back. But for me, I'd be patient on that. All right. Coin. Coin jumping up pretty decently too. So up about $6 pre-market. This is all going to be on the backs of crypto. Bitcoin was running like crazy. I think we were talking about it. It was like 31. We're like, wow, 33 looks good. I think today was at 34 and change. So it's on the path to probably continue running. The marketplace is still pretty beneficial for crypto at this point, where you still have a lack of trust, I think, in regional banks, small banks, even big banks. And then we have potential ETFs from Bitcoin coming out. So everything is kind of still aligning up with bullish in crypto. This one is a nice gap. It is a retest gap, and you are at resistance. I think this one fades probably first, or at some point throughout the day, come back a little bit. Even if it comes back into, I wouldn't mind it if it comes at like 79.42. If we're looking at this chart though, and we've got decent little, what could have been a horrible nightmare for Coinbase, could have been a bear flag, but looks like it's pretty much holding. Good gap up. Again, I would expect some kind of a retest. And Coinbase does make big moves, but the lower we get it, I'd try to be as cautious as possible. 79.75. But watch, if you're about to get in the trade, watch crypto, watch Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's pulling back, be careful. Mara was the other one we were looking at yesterday. That's a beautiful looking gap as well. Again, I think they have what, I forget what we said, 24% short squeeze. It's pretty high. Pretty high short squeeze. There was a lot of buying yesterday. Even though that short squeeze is on the table, I'm going to say it probably ran its path already. And then if it pulls back, we'd have to see if we can get back to like 878. I think somebody's going to want to take profits here. We're into a high volume area. The interesting thing is we are above it. So 974, if that one starts to give up and we start to fail 974, then I think that's more of a fade on the table. But that short flow is scary. Horrific. All right. Google, the Googs. They report earnings today. That could mess up some kind of trading. Yep, September 24th. I believe that is today. So we'll have to watch this one. I don't know how excited I would be before earnings. The last few companies we looked at least, they did good. This is going to cover a little bit more of the advertising space, not just straight tech. So we didn't really see any real advertising companies report yet, but Google would be the first one. Probably one of the most watched, I would think, today. But that is also a retest gap, a little bit of resistance above us. I wouldn't want to play this one bullish. If this one comes back down to 136.94, I'd be down to maybe take a stab for continuation, but I would want this one to come back first. Let's see. Gene, good morning. Clarice, good morning. See if I'm missing any other ones. Marie says Apple got 50 calls at 170. You think sell them or keep them till earnings? I don't know why I just typed sell in there. AAPL. But I got 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Right now. So when's earnings on this one? November. You got a little bit of time on those calls. I don't know when your strike is. So you got 50 calls at 170. Yep. So I don't know your strike and your expiration on it. Otherwise, you're still hanging into this 200. I don't think you have to sell them yet. If this market wants to come back a little bit and Apple starts to climb and we start holding that 200, those calls will probably go up just on volatility getting into earnings. So I would sell them. I mean, right now you're still good, and then I would if we start getting closes below 170.18, providing again that you have a little longer time on those. But if you start getting closes like 170.18, I would just flip out, sell them, take whatever profit or loss that they give you. But until that moment, you still got some time till earnings. And I think those contracts could actually go up in value, providing just the fact that we're getting close. And if you got it at 170, you probably got it relatively cheap too. So I would think that you could get a little bit, even if we do nothing until earnings, you'll probably get a little bit of, at least not so much kill, because you're going to get the value on this one and gives you a little more time. So I would wait till prior to earnings. And if you got 50 of them, I mean, you could start selling some, take some profit, try to reduce some risk on those. We looked at Google. Spotify, AMD. I think I covered all that you guys threw out there. We got a minute left. Let's see what else we're missing. PLTR. Yep. PLTR. And check that one today. So we're up about 19 cents pre-market. I mean, location of where the hammer came in. Perfect. It is a retest gap. Pretty good open though. My next resistance on this one takes me to about 1663. And then if that one could break, which maybe we can, maybe we can't. But 1714 will be my next target. So we have a little bit of room on this thing. Otherwise, that hammer looks good. Again, what I would like to see and what actually happens in the market is two different things. But if we could get a pullback into, I'd watch this $16.20 zone. So see if this thing comes back down, see if we could hold that VPOC from yesterday. I think that will come down to eventually retest. I think today as well, but otherwise we're looking at a really, really good hammer. Got saved where it had to, right off that high volume area, sitting somewhere around 1544. We've already had double bottom. This is your break. I think to some extent that's your wave 3. This is your pullback, wave 4, and then we pop one more time to wave 5. So we'll have to see, but fun on a technical basis, it looks good. Swing trade is going to be tough. We only have till November 2nd till they report, and then it's a straight gamble at that point. But we only got 3 seconds left. YouTube land, if you guys have not hit the like and subscribe button, make sure you guys do so. That morning bell, it's like a bittersweet, because sweet because the market's open, but then I gotta disconnect from YouTube. But you guys can join us each and every day. We do this from 9 to 6 p.m. every single day. Just go to reallifetrading.com